It's been over 20 something years since I even thought about watching an X-Men cartoon. And with this new series that came out, I had to give it a chance. Stick around for my 5 reasons of why the X-Men 97 animated series nailed it. First things first, I want to put things into perspective so you can see where I stand and you can know what this means to me. I'm an 80s baby, and my very first introduction into comics, period, was the X-Men. The Jim Lee's X-Men, #1, when it came out, that was my Bible. That was everything to me. The X-Men is what introduced me to everything that I know now. I mean, I knew who Superman was and I knew who Spider-Man was, but that was about it. I really couldn't tell you anything more about them. Like, I don't know where they come from. I didn't know their names. I just could recognize the character, and that was about it. The X-Men were the first of anything that I started to dig down the rabbit hole to figure out what's going on here. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with that. I was fortunate enough to live through the series, and I remember that a lot of characters came out. Like Jubilee was a big thing for the series, and that's where I know her from specifically. I remember everything that came with that show. The theme song, the animation, the intro, everything. It's like it's stuck in my brain right now, even as I'm talking to you. To this day, that theme song's popping. I don't care what nobody says. So with that being said, I want to talk about 5 ways that the X-Men 97 series nailed it. Number 5. The past series versus the present series. It's very rare that a company takes an original of anything and actually improves on it. What they usually do is destroy the legacy of what it is that you remember, to the point that it's like, yo, why'd you even do it? You know what I'm saying? Now, in preparation for the upcoming series, I thought it would be a good idea to go back and catch up on the original, give myself a refresher. I have to say that it was a little tough. It's not exactly what I remember. A little slow pace for me. It was almost like rewatching the original Star Wars movies, you know what I mean? I had to remind myself about the nostalgia so like I wouldn't check out. Sometimes things don't age as gracefully as we remember them. So then, they dropped a new series and it reminds me of the old series. Copy and paste. Except for the fact that it's not. Bringing back the original voice actors, excellent move. Keeping the theme song, thumbs up all the way. Keeping everything that I remember from the original series, but at the same time making improvements that was subtle enough to go over your head, but big enough to be game changers. The way it flowed from the old series into the new series, incredible. It feels like one long show with just like a 20-year mid-season finale slapped in the middle. I've been thinking about it, and I'm hard pressed to try to think of a show that has tried to emulate this and mimic the past show and succeed. I mean, hit me in the comments. I'm sure there's something, but I'm hard pressed to try to remember it right now. The way they improved and brung the last show into the current show and almost made it feel seamless, and it actually improved on what it was that they had from the beginning. We have to give the studio props for making this show what it is. I mean, trust me, I'm pretty sure they wanted to change a lot of things, and I want to thank them for sticking to the script. Number 4. Episode quality. And there's probably a better way to phrase this, but I really can't think of it right now. But these episodes are so emotionally driven. It's amazing to me. To be clear, I love every single episode, and probably the weakest episode out of the bunch will probably be the Mojo World episode. But we needed that too, because that showed the character development between Jubilee and Sunspot. But that will have to be the slowest episode. And when I say the slowest episode, what I really mean is all of the other episodes are so epic that this one kind of drags a little bit, but that's because all of them are popping. Every single episode is popping. I don't remember the original series being so fast-paced and developed. Maybe it was because I was younger and I don't remember it like that, but I just watched it not too long ago and I didn't get that feeling. I mean, let me know how you feel about that, but there was really no fat to trim. And I was over here wishing that these were hour-long episodes because these 30 minutes were flying. It's amazing how this show knew how to keep their foot on the gas. They just knew how to keep the adrenaline going. It was like magic. The third reason why they nailed it is the emotional depth of the characters. Let's talk about episode 5 specifically, really quick. Episode 5 had me going through every single emotion imaginable as fast as possible. The Wild Sentinel pops up in Genosha. Right away, we see the X-Men on deck starting to get busy. Rogue doesn't even have time to process her emotions. She just realizes that Magneto's not the one, but then she got to go and get it popping with the Sentinel, right? At the same time, Gambit's probably feeling super hurt after everything that he just witnessed, but he really don't have time to process that neither because he got to get it popping because everything's going crazy. And it leads up to probably the best Gambit scene I've ever witnessed in my life. You got Gambit racing with Rogue trying to get to the Sentinel first. He's trying to protect Rogue to make sure that she doesn't get hurt, even though it doesn't kind of make sense because she's more durable than him. But anyway, and let's be real. Most of us would have probably been like, nah, you good, shorty. You just finished playing. You fresh off playing with Magneto. I don't even got time for that. But now Remy, you know what I'm saying? He holding it down. He was really going out his way to try to 1v1 a Sentinel, a wild Sentinel at that. The moment that Gambit took that hit, my hand was over my mouth. My hand did not leave my mouth until after the credits started rolling. Facts. I was in shock, like, no, not Remy, not Gambit. Do not tell me don't tell me I just saw that. Like, I was really feeling that way. That moment right there hit me harder than the Thanos finger snap. Real talk. All right, moving on from that episode, let's talk about the episode with Rogue. Am I the only one who loved when Rogue kind of sort of maybe went to save Trask? For a split second, asked him one last time if you got anything to bring to the table. And once she realized he wasn't going to do nothing, she was like, same, sugar. That moment was epic, phenomenal. It really makes you question where you stand with things. It really questions your morality and like how far are you willing to go with certain things. At that moment, you saw the division. You felt the divide. You got Nightcrawler like, oh, is that what we're doing now? You got Wolverine like, yo, it's about time somebody makes it happen. You can really see the line in the sand of the morality between the X-Men right there. And it makes you question, well, where do I stand? What would I do? Was that cool? Was it not cool? These are things that are being driven from an animated series. Let's not even talk about Rogue's monologue right after she dropped them. You can feel her pain. You can feel her grief. You can feel her emotions. She was like, what, my man? Yo, come on, man. I felt that right there. I damn near wanted to wipe the tears from her eyes. That did not feel like an animated moment. It didn't. I'm sorry. I've seen blockbuster movies that have had a hard time pulling off that type of emotional depth with real people. And this is coming from a 30-minute cartoon. Unbelievable. Moving up to number 2, storyline implementation. What I really love about this series is that they don't just play off of one storyline and try to tweak it here and there. They are digging in and locking in on some of the biggest nostalgia points that the storylines have to offer. And they're doing them justice. In my opinion, I can actually see and feel them trying to capture everything that was in the comics and trying their best to portray that in the animated series, which is something brand new to me. I mean, let's look at that moment when Magneto ripped out Wolverine's adamantium. That is copy and paste from the Fatal Attraction story. You don't even have to guess, oh, where's this coming from? When his claws started going back, I was like, oh, we doing this? We doing this? This is happening. I knew exactly what was happening. They pulled off exactly what I remember from the comics. You don't have to even try to remember. It'll come right back. I mean, you really can't ask for an adaptation to be closer than what we just had. They are tapping into everything that I remember, and it is so fluid and believable that they got me rolling with it like I'm back in 9/7, like for real. For the first time in what feels like forever, I finally feel like the studio heads are working for us and giving us what it is that we want. And that's something I can get used to. And here we are with the number 1 reason of why the X-Men 9/7 animated series nailed it. I think that the number 1 reason that they nailed this home is because they stuck to the concept of what the X-Men represent, which is the concept of family. You don't really get that with other teams. Iron Man and Captain America, they speak like friends. They don't give family vibes. The one thing that sets the X-Men apart from all other teams, in my opinion, is the fact that they are a family. You have to remember, most other teams are put-togethers. These are people that do their own thing and they get a phone call and they get up on the weekend like, yeah, I gotta help you out, then I go back to doing my thing. The X-Men don't do that. That's not how they get down. The X-Men have always been different. Professor X has gone door to door and handpicked most of the mutants that's in his school right now, or from the beginning. By the time that they made it to be a team, they have been living together for years. They don't come together on the weekends. They don't chill on holidays and on Christmas. They live together 24/7, 365. When you fight the X-Men, that's not a 1v1. They're gonna jump you. And they train all day in the danger room on a slow day, practicing on how to intertwine their powers. And one hops in, one hops out. I mean, you saw how they was giving it to Bastion. They can finesse their powers in a way that even the weakest member can add to the situation. Cyclops and Wolverine may have their issues, but that's their issues. They would never let somebody else do something to the other one. Jean has feelings for Cyclops and Wolverine. And when Wolverine is at his lowest and he's on his deathbed, what does Cyclops do? What does Cyclops tap into? He reminds him, you better not hurt her. You better do what you do. Heal. The bond that the X-Men have as a group, as a whole, you don't really see that anywhere else. Not as a whole and not as an entirety. The X-Men are also pariahs. Humans hate them. Their deeds are always disregarded. No matter how many times they save the world, the president is always one button press away from destroying everything. One button press away from trying to kill them. One button press away from trying to destroy them. Doesn't matter what they do. They're always on the extermination list. Past, present, and future. They got it rough. I just really feel their underdog story, and that's something that they really brought to light in this animated series. So those are 5 reasons right there why I feel like the X-Men 97 animated series nailed it. Not for nothing, I could have came up with 20 reasons why they nailed it, because the show was just that damn good, but we ain't got time for that. So let me know in the comments if the show was that good to you too. Until next time. Peace.